All right. Hello. Yo. Hello. Good morning. It's not really morning. It's noon. Thank you, Space. Sorry, I could have done that. Welcome to Animal Quest. Wee woo. I got snakes everywhere. I have Noodle to my left here. We brought this bin out because she was soaking this morning, and I didn't want to take her out because she was having a nice bath. So I opened her enclosure to let her come out on her own. Just nothing. She just wanted to stay in the tub. So we carried the whole thing out here, and she was sitting out here for like 10 minutes before I went live. But she's now decided to leave the tub. And then we have Patchy to the right. I had to put a lid on this. It didn't have a lid before because Patchy was escaping. Noodle was trying to get on top of that shelf. By the way, please tell me if you see her going up to that shelf, because she will knock everything over, and I won't hear her, and I might not see her going up there. But she's very, very capable of that, and I really don't want to deal with that. So let me know if she climbs up to the shelf, or if she gets really low on the perch, because I don't really want to untangle her because there's cords on the ground, and that would be a huge pain. So my hope is that she stays on this perch and chills out. That's the plan. Patchy is doing his thing. He really wants out as well, but I can't have them out at the same time. We're probably going to feed Patchy today. We'll see how it goes. I have a rat pup over there. But welcome back to Animal Quest, episode 3. Ma'am. Not today. Sorry. No. I can stay over here. How about that? Animal Quest episode 3, Snake Edition. Very exciting. I'm super, super excited about this episode. I've done lots of research, and it's a lot. It's a lot of information, but it's a lot of really good information. I think you guys are going to like it a lot. As you guys know, there are lots and lots of misconceptions about snakes. Snakes get a pretty bad rep. I'm sure you'll see plenty of that in chat today when we have them out. I feel like I should move this. It's kind of ugly, right? Are you going to go back in? What if she wants to go back in there? Should I just leave it? Is it fine? It does look kind of crazy. I don't know. It's fine. Okay, I'm leaving it. Yo, what up, Zoil? I'm trying to think of what else I have for the intro. If you have not been to an Animal Quest before, which I assume most of you have, this is a series on my channel for Alveus where I do a spotlight presentation on species or group of species that we have here. So the first one that I did was for the chickens, or 2 chickens. So I talked about the agricultural industry and chickens and their natural history and all that, which was pretty neat. The second one that I did was on Stompy, our emu. So I talked about the exotic... All right. What happened? That's never happened. What? It went to reconnecting. Oh no. Oh gosh. Okay. Well, the stream from the PC DC'd. It says scene switch to BRB. Is it? Why would it be on a BRB scene? Bitrate offline. So we're not even using the cloud server right now. We're just using the PC, but the PC DC'd. So. All right. I don't like seeing bitrate offline. No, you're on the cloud server. Okay, well, whatever. We'll just keep it up. We'll act like nothing happened. Uh, it switched to, all right, whatever. So this episode today is on snakes. We have a lot of really cool things to talk about with snakes. We have misconceptions to go over. We have the pet trade to go over. And I have a whole presentation. I hope you guys like it. I love doing the Animal Quest things. I love doing my own research. It's really fun. And I just love teaching you guys about it. So I hope you like the presentation. It's a little bit different it's not really different in format, but in style, I guess. So you guys can let me know what you think about this. Wow, very fancy. But oh, man. I don't know what's going on today. Weird. All right, anyway. Back to business. School presentation PogChamp. I really do feel like sometimes I'm back in like high school or even college. Like I do all this research for a presentation. I practice it the night before. I practice it the morning before. And then I present. But anyway, here we go. We'll go ahead and get started. Before we start talking about snakes as a whole, we will talk about our snake ambassadors in particular, so you guys can know a little bit about their stories. You know the drill. Max and Danny have made our videos. You can't hear? What? Can't hear what? I'm so stressed. It's fine. Then why are you... Okay. Wait, what the heck? Huh? Is everything okay? Space. What is going on? I literally have Space. Did you? Oh, you opened the Prezi pop out. I don't want the Prezi pop out. I put it on the. That's why. I just put it on the browser. Because the Prezi pop-out doesn't refresh, and you put in the Noodle video, and so you have to do it in the browser, like in the editing thing. I can do it. Here, just let me. I got it. I'm taking the mouse. I'm doing it. Okay. Hold on, chat. Okay, here we go. Everything is fine. Everybody relax. We're fine. This is Animal Quest. This is a very successful production. My shit is crackling, is it not? Is everything okay? Is everybody doing okay? How is everybody? Is my audio crackling? No. All right. Sorry for the rough start. Here we go. This is Noodle's story. This video is made by Danny.
Hello, miss. Oh, hello, miss ma'am. Are you hungry? Okay, good girl. Here we go. Are you ready?
What the heck? Why is that there? Noodle! Okay. This is Noodle to my left here. Noodle's a carpet python like you saw in I really don't know why that was there. Is that in your video, Danny, or is that YouTube? I think it's YouTube. Anyway, Noodle's our carpet python playlist. Okay. Um, the story behind Noodle, like you just saw in that video. So I've known Noodle for a good, at this point, 4 years or so. She came to Alveus in April, and I knew her because I was zookeeping at the zoo that she came from. But I never interacted with her at that zoo because I was an intern and they told me not to because she would get fed in her enclosure. I've told the story on my stream before. But she would get fed in her enclosure. So anytime someone opened the enclosure, they'd stick a rat in there and she'd grab it, strike at it, you know, the way that she eats. So anytime anybody walked by her enclosure, she would strike at the glass. So people were like, don't touch that snake. Like, like, don't go in there, right? So I was always scared of her. And when I was looking for snakes for Alveus, for our program, I asked the zoo, like, do you have anything that you're willing to part with for my program? And they were like, you want the carpet? And I was like, no, I don't. But they're like, that's all we got. And I was like, okay. All right. So I took her anyway, brought her back to Alveus. She has a new beautiful enclosure and we feed her in a free carpet python. Yay, Russell, hi. We feed her in a separate feeding container. So she knows when we go in there, we're not feeding her, and she knows that she eats in this container. So we have never had a problem with her striking at the glass. She's a very happy snake, pretty chilled out, as you can see. Her head's over there. I don't know if you can see her head. But yeah, that's Noodle's story, and she's fantastic. She's carpet python. She's between 7 and 8 feet long. This is an Australian python, semi-arboreal, so she likes climbing on stuff like this. So she's pretty chilled out. The next snake that we have at Alveus is Patchy. He is a ball python, and here's Patchy's story, courtesy of Max. Our newest Alveus ambassador is Patchy. Yay, Patchy! He was born with only one eye. We got him from a python breeder who Ella and I are both friends with. She breeds for color and she sells to pet stores. And a lot of times when you breed for color, you get some of these issues. And she was unable to sell him to a pet store because of this handicap. So she wanted him to go to a special home, and that's why he's here. How did he get up there? Python. Wow. Thank you for the videos, Danny and Max. This is Patchy. Right now, I think, well, besides Orion, he's our newest ambassador. Like you saw in that video, Patchy's a ball python. We got him from, you guys didn't warn me. I need a warning sooner than when she's on the shelf for someone I saw one person say shelf. I'm going to need hey, Maya, she's going up there. Okay? Please. Anyway. So, we couldn't see. Not my job. All right. So this is Patchy. We got him from a ball python breeder here in Central Texas, who's a friend of me and Ella's. I used to work at the Wildlife Rehab Center with her. And she breeds a lot of these snakes for color. Sometimes when you breed for color, it comes with problems. Sometimes they come out with a head wobble. Sometimes they come out with defects like this, where he's got this one eye. As you can, I can see her behind. I see her behind me. She's okay right now. So Patchy's got one eye, which means that she couldn't sell him to the pet stores like she normally does. So she offered him to us because he needed a special home. And that's when we got Patchy. He's, about 10 or 11 weeks old. He's a baby right now. So he's pretty little, as you could see from me holding him, but he'll get to be about 4 to 5 feet long. So Patchy's a ball python. Ball pythons have a really crazy, really interesting story I'm very excited to tell you guys about today. You know what I realize is you can't see her in my little cam when I have the presentation up, so I'm going to have to watch her because she really wants up there. Why? Why? That's what you get for having an arboreal snake. Climb. Let her? No. She will knock everything down up there, and it's going to be a disaster. She's going to hurt herself. Ma'am. No. Down here. Look. She's so focused. Did you see? She never looked away from that shelf when I moved her. Stop. Stop. Hold on. Okay. I'll just intermittently adjust her. Okay. Over here. Ooh, over here's so fun. Yay, stay over here. Okay, moving forward, here we go. Up. Oh, whoops. All right, so natural history of snakes. Who, what, when, where, why, snake. What are snakes? We're going to talk a little bit about snake evolution. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. I'm not a paleontologist, a little over my head, but I will tell you a little bit about where they came from, how they exist. So in our fossil record, there are several species of snakes that exist from over 100 million years ago. That's several species, right? So speciation had already happened, which means that the first snakes must have been millions of years before that. Snakes have been around a very, very long time. Somebody said Titanoboa. Cute, nice. We're actually going to talk about that. New fossils suggest that ancestors lived in burrows and on land. There's been lots of debate over whether these were in water or on land, but Ella's here. Hi, Ella. So yeah, this part isn't super important in understanding their evolution, but I just thought you guys would think it's cool because Twitch chat, whatever. There used to be very, very big snakes. I've listed a couple of them here. The first one is Madsoy. Lived about 90 million years ago, found in South America, Asia, Africa, and Australia, all over the place. And this was a 30 to 46 foot snake. Really, really large snake. There's a comparison there of person and then like a really cool artist render of that snake. But the largest snake that they believe to have exist is the Titanoboa. Pretty cool name that they gave. I don't know who named it, but it's a pretty sick name. A 30 to 46 foot long snake that weighed about 2,500 pounds. The only reference that I have for that is a Acero. My horse is like 1,100 pounds. I can't think of anything right now that's 2,500 pounds. But they lived about 60 million years ago. Those fossils were found in some mines in Colombia. So that is an exhibit at the Smithsonian National Museum where they reconstructed what they think that snake would have looked like. Those are actual people visiting the exhibit in that picture in the bottom right. And they thought that they probably ate alligators, small dinosaurs, dinosaur eggs for sure, and some other stuff like that. And then there's a render there of what they would look like in comparison to a person at the time. So snakes used to be really big. One of the reasons that people think that they used to be so big is because it was much more humid, it was much hotter, and so they could make it at that size. Now they're obviously much smaller. What makes a snake though? There are over 3,000 species of snakes. Lots. These are exothermic animals. So they could have sustained themselves in really, really hot, humid areas and been that big. Now it's not like that. Oh, sorry, ads, yeah. Ads go off every 30 minutes. I lost my train of thought. Yeah, these are exothermic animals. A lot of people say cold-blooded. That's not really an accurate way to... it's not really an accurate way to describe them. Other things about snakes, some of them lay eggs. Most of them lay eggs. There are some snakes that give live birth. I think anacondas give live birth, which is pretty wild. Some snakes are venomous. There are a couple species of snakes that are poisonous. I learned that literally a couple days ago. So that's kind of crazy. We're going to talk about the distinction between the two later in the presentation or later in the stream. Snakes can be anywhere between 4 inches and 30 feet long. Okay? So lots of variation within snake species. I have pictures of the shortest and the longest snakes here. The shortest snake is the Barbados thread snake. That top picture, it's about a 4-inch long snake. The longest snake being a reticulated python. Longest, not largest. The largest snake in mass would be a green anaconda. But the longest is a reticulated python, the longest measuring about 30 feet long in captivity. So, huge variation. We have like a, foot long snake here and a 7 or 8 foot long snake here. But they can get a lot bigger. She can get up to 12-ish feet, I think, and I said it before, but he can get 4 to 5 feet long. Snakes smell with their tongue. Kind of. Snakes collect particles on their tongue. You ever see a snake like go around like sticking its tongue out, whatever? They collect particles on their tongue, they can bring it back into their mouth, and then they have an organ inside the roof of their mouth called the Jacobson's organ, where they can send all that information to their brain so they know what they're smelling. So they're kind of tasting with their tongue and then sending that information to their brain. So that's another thing that makes a snake a snake. And snakes have no eyelids or external ear openings. Another distinction that makes a snake a snake. Oh, and a very general at the top here. A snake is a reptile with no legs. Snakes don't have legs. Cool. So, conservation of snakes. This section sucks. Doing research for this section sucked because there's just not that much information. Like, there's so much information on a lot of mammals and their conservation status. But the reality is, for snakes, there's just not a lot. For reptiles and for insects and arachnids and invertebrates, there's just not that much data. You're going to hear me say that a lot during this presentation. There's just not enough data. But there are a lot of threats that snakes face. Very generalized habitat loss, unsustainable trade, both pet trade and snakeskin products. Introduction of invasive species everywhere harms snakes. Human conflict, that's a huge one that we're going to talk about. Urban development, pushing snakes out of their natural habitat, right? And then climate change. This is a graphic that I pulled from IUCN from 2012. The pie chart there says it surveyed about 1,500 species of snakes. Also note that there are over 3,000 species of snakes, so about half of them. 0% came out as extinct. There's 12% threatened, 4% near threatened, 38% low risk, and 24%, that big gray chunk, is data deficient. There's just not enough information, and there's not even enough information on the 1,500 that they surveyed, let alone the 3,000 that exist. And this is with IUCN Red List. I mean, this is like the leader in surveying conservation status of species. So there's that information. I wish I could give you more, but that's all I got. Okay, snake and human conflict. This was the most important thing for me to talk about today, to me, because snakes get such a bad rep. It's so lame. People hate snakes. People want to kill snakes. People think snakes are gross. Oh yeah, I put in this. It just felt like I don't know, the animation felt relevant. But let's talk a little bit about the impact. This slide is a little dense. I am sorry. I didn't know how to cut it down. I tried really hard to, but I couldn't. I'll read it. You don't have to read it. So according to the World Health Organization, snakebite is considered a neglected public health issue in a lot of subtropical and tropical countries. There are between 81,000 and 138,000 deaths per year due to envenomings. This is not in the States. This is in the States, it's 5 to 6 deaths per year. But worldwide, 81 to 138,000 deaths because of snake bites. And a lot of that is because of a lack of quality and affordable healthcare, and a lack of availability to anti-venom, and a lack of education for what snake species is what. So that results in people killing snakes indiscriminately, right? See snake, kill snake. snake is dangerous, kill snake. Doesn't matter what kind of snake it is. And I've seen that firsthand. I've seen it in Ghana. I've seen it in Belize. I've seen multiple people kill snakes in front of me that weren't even venomous snakes, just because it's a snake. And that's not to demonize those humans. It makes a lot of sense that they would do that if they were worried about getting bit by a venomous snake and dying, because it's a thing that happens very often. But there's a lot of broken systems there that leads to that being a problem. But snakes are demonized as a whole. And it's the same in the US. And I have a very, very shocking example. This slide is a little bit graphic, and the video is going to get very graphic. So if you're not into that, heads up. I'll give you like a second to click out while Snake's chilled out, by the way. She's good. So, I want to talk a little bit about the Sweetwater Rattlesnake Roundup. This is an event that occurs in Texas annually. And I wanted to talk about it as kind of like a case study, because I think it's a really extreme example of how people see snakes and how demonized snakes have become. I'll talk about these pictures on the right because they'll disappear before I play this video. Sweetwater Rattlesnake Roundup, every year they gather about 5,000 pounds of rattlesnakes. And rattlesnakes are like 2 pounds each or something. So you can do that math. But they collect them, they put them in a pit, they kill them, or they cull them. And it also doubles as like a carnival. It doubles as a beauty pageant. So the picture on the top is Miss Snake Charmer of that year. I don't have my glasses on. I can't tell what year that picture is from. But skinning those snakes. And all of those handprints are snake blood. They drain snake blood, and then they have kids come up and dip their hands in the blood and put it on the wall and write their name under it. Important thing to note, so they collect about 5,000 pounds of snakes a year here. This is still happening. This happens every year. And they've killed over 250,000 snakes. 250,000 rattlesnakes they've killed just at this event since they launched in 1958. A lot of people are okay with this because people hate rattlesnakes, right? They don't want to die. They don't want to get bit by a rattlesnake. They think that they're vermin. But the CDC estimates that there are about 5 to 6, that's it, human deaths in the US per year due to snake bites. And that's not even just rattlesnakes, right? That could be coral snake, that could be water moccasin, that could be, copperhead. So pretty crazy numbers there. But I'll play the video and then we'll talk about it a little bit more, but just so you get a feel for what this is. I use this as an example because I cannot think of a single other species besides maybe like roaches or some spider or some insect that people would be accepting of an event like this for.
My name is Riley Sawyers, and I'm a past president and this year's PR chairman for the world's largest Sweetwater JC's Rattlesnake Roundup. It all started back in 1958 when area farmers and ranchers came to the JCs and said, hey man, y'all know we got tons of rattlesnakes, let's catch them and do something with. Well, really about 1959, 1960, it started growing. More media started getting involved and more people started hearing about it, and it just has grown tremendously. There's about 30 to 40,000 people a year come to Sweetwater, where we live and do business at. We prefer not to every step he takes see a rattlesnake. So that's one reason we have the roundup, is just on population control. We catch a approximate average of about 5,000 pounds a year. Hunters will start bringing their snakes in. We buy them for a nominal fee. They're thrown into a pit, and from that pit they go to the milking pit. We actually take the venom out of their glands, and from that station they go to research, where they're measured sexed, and weighed, and that information is sent to the Texas Parks and Wildlife for them to do their studies and make limits or suggestions or whatever, just like any other wildlife. And then from that station, they go to probably one of the favorite ones of everybody's, where the blood and guts are. We call it the skinning pit. Their head is chopped off, skinned, and then all part of the rattlesnakes are used. We end up cooking the meat, making belts, wallets, boots, whatever out of the hides. It's a wonderful event. It's just not about snakes. We have a gun, knife, coin show, a carnival, flea market, a cook-off that hosts about 125 to 150 teams, and just a lot of entertainment for the individual or family for night or the weekend.
Wild. Wild. So anyway, that I know that was a lot of a video. Also, thank you National Geographic for that. Is a National Geographic video, which is kind of sketchy to play on stream, but it was such a good video. It's pretty crazy. Like I said right before I started playing the video, I cannot think of another species that people would be so accepting of this kind of event for, you know? And I know I'm not wording that very well, but I think you know what I mean. It's wild that this kind of thing happens, and I think it's a really, really extreme example of how people feel about snakes and how kids are brought up to feel about snakes as well. I mean, you saw those pits, they're literally plexiglass windows so that kids can watch the snakes get, you know, which is crazy. And so that's a perception that really needs to change. That's part of why we're doing Animal Quest today, big time. So why should we care about snakes, right? A lot of people don't like snakes. If you still don't like snakes, that's totally fine. But why are snakes important? Why should we worry about the conservation of snakes? First of all, like any other species that we should be worried about saving, they maintain and balance a really, really fragile food web. Lots of snakes are both predator and prey for lots of animals. S-Fan. We're all like crying about snakes being massacred, and S-Fan's just in there like... So they're a really important part of a food web, right? Of their food web. They are natural and chemical-free pest control. Snakes eat rodents. Everybody knows that, right? So, and they do it on their own without us having to take care of a rodent problem. Snakes just exist. It's crazy how it works naturally, as it is, without us getting involved, right? Snakes also have the ability to reduce reduce disease spread to humans from other animals. Salmonella, Lyme disease, West Nile virus, and many, many more. Lyme disease and West Nile virus are things that are carried by rodents. Snakes controlling the rodent population helps humans a lot because it keeps those diseases away from us. And there's snake venom being used in the treatment of thrombosis, arthritis, cancer, and many other diseases. So snake venom is being used in research to save us. So if you save snakes, they could save you one day. Who knows? Pretty cool. Snake misconceptions. Very exciting. I've asked I asked on my Twitter, I was like, what are the biggest misconceptions about snakes? And we're just going to address some of them here. 1, snakes are poisonous. Okay, truth. Some snakes are venomous. I say this, and before I said, yes, I think there are 2 species of snakes that are poisonous. What is the difference between poisonous and venomous? Poison. You bite it, you're screwed. Venom, it bites you, you're screwed. Right? Ingestion versus injection. So most snakes, not most snakes, but some snakes are venomous. There are only, I think, 2 species that are poisonous, and that's because they eat something that is poisonous. The toxin doesn't affect them, but they adopt that toxin, and then they become poisonous. So there's a little more information than you need. Myth, snakes are aggressive towards humans. Truth, some snakes display defensive behaviors to keep themselves safe. Yes, snakes bite humans. Like, there are snakes that have bitten humans, of course. But if you see a snake that's in a striking position, it's usually because it's scared. No snake, I can guarantee this, no snake is going to see you walking across the street and be like, I'm going to go get that person. Try not to swear. Snakes are not inherently aggressive towards humans. They don't want to bite humans. It's all defensive behaviors. Myth, snakes are slimy. This one's weird. A lot of people, when they feel snakes for the first time, because I've done lots of educational programs with snakes, people are like, oh, like, I thought it would be slimy. It's not slimy at all. I don't know why people think that. But the truth is, snake skin is made of keratin, which is the same thing that our fingernails are made out of. So they're not slimy at all. I don't know if this is going to focus. They're actually really smooth, almost soft, and completely dry. Is not a slimy boy. Hello, Patchy. Look how cute he is. Ooh. Is that his eye side? Yeah, here's his no eye side. But yeah, snakes are not slimy. You wouldn't believe the amount of people that are like, oh, I thought it'd be slimy. And they touch them. If you ever get a chance to touch a snake, in like a safe spot or in captivity or something, you should. I wouldn't recommend going around catching wild snakes and touching them, but if someone's like, yeah, you can touch the snake, do it. They're really cool. Myth: big snakes want to eat people, or if you go walking in the woods, some snake's gonna eat you. Truth, there are very, very few snakes that are capable of eating humans, and they're much, much more likely to go for smaller prey. General rule of thumb is you want to feed your snake prey that's about the width of the biggest part of their body. So it would be very, very hard for a snake to eat a human. There are only a few recorded cases ever of a snake trying to constrict and eat a human. It's not something that happens. You don't need to worry about it. That would be an anaconda. Myth: snakes are not cute. Patchy. Poll time. Are you ready for a poll? Poll number 1. What percentage of snakes worldwide are venomous? Out of the 3,000 species of snakes that exist, what percentage are... Wow. Sorry, that was loud. What percentage are venomous? Yeah, you can just type the letter in chat and it'll put in your vote. Wow. Wow. Good job. Trick question, it's 100% wrong. I will tell you that answer is not correct. All right, you guys ready? Have you all put in your votes? Stop looking at my paper. You're all cheating. You're all looking at each other's answers. Apologize. All right, that's it for the poll. Yeah, the correct answer is about 20% of snake species worldwide are venomous. So then, poll number 2. There are plenty of snakes that are venomous, or 20% of snake species are venomous. How many, out of all the snake species worldwide, what percentage could kill or significantly harm a human? Out of the 3,000 species of snakes, what percentage could kill or significantly harm a human? Close your eyes and type. You're not allowed to see anybody else's answer. Put a 1 in chat if your eyes are closed. That's what I like to see. Integrity. Love it. Love it. Right, only about 7% of snake species out of the 3,000 snake species we have the potential to kill or significantly harm a human. The vast majority of snakes are harmless to us. So I thought that was pretty cool information. I learned those numbers pretty recently myself. So, will snake kill you? Last poll. This is in the US. Okay, this is statistics from the US. This was a really hard question to word, so I'm sorry if it doesn't make sense. Which of these causes of death are you 9 times more likely to die from as opposed to a snake bite in the US? Are you 9 times more likely to die from a car accident? 9 times more likely to die from a dog attack? 9 times more likely to die from a lightning strike? Or 9 times more likely to die from lung cancer? You know what? I should actually pull up the other stats. Just because it's kind of interesting while you guys are voting. Oh. Actually, could someone on my team send it to me? I think I sent you the graph before. Can you send it in the team chat so I don't have to go find it, please? Oh, this one's a little bit more spread out. All right, 51% of people are saying car accident, 15 saying dog attack, 27 saying lightning strike, and 8% saying cancer. Did that question make sense? Did the wording of the question make sense? Thank you, Space. Yes. Okay, cool. So 51% said car accident. Wrong. It's a lightning strike. Within the United States, there are about 5 to 6 human deaths per year from a snake bite. You are 9 times more likely to die via lightning strike in the U.S. than you are getting bit by a venomous snake. Congratulations if you said lightning strike. You're right. I'll do these other numbers for you. So lightning strike, 9 times more likely. Oh, gosh. 37,594 divided by 6. You are... Is it really? Am I stupid? Hold on. Yeah. All right, hold on. I'm checking this. I typed it before I'm saying it out loud because there's no way. I'm trying to get you the stats of the other one just so you know because it's interesting. Ildrix is responding to whether or not I'm correct, and I'm very concerned because we literally talked yesterday about how bad Ildrix is at math. Oh, he stopped typing. He said, I dropped out of school, you're on your own. Bro, I'm live. Okay, I was correct. Thank you, Space. Why even type, bro? Okay, so you are 6,300 times more likely to die from a car accident than you are a venomous snake bite in the United States. You are 3.5 times more likely to die from a dog attack in the United States. And wait, this one's a doozy. 62 for 60 divided by... And you are 27,076 times more likely to die from lung cancer in the US than you are a venomous snake bite. People are way more scared of snakes than they need to be. That is crazy. That is crazy. So there you go. There's some fun facts for you, I guess. I mean, not very fun. There's a lot of people dying. But anyway, there's your misconceptions. Let's talk a little bit about the pet trade. This is really important. This is part of the reason that I got these pets, jeez Louise. This is part of the reason that I got these snakes for Alveus, is to talk about the pet trade. Okay. Ball pythons have an especially important story with reptiles in the pet trade. Ball pythons are exported from Africa more than any other species monitored by CITES. CITES being the Convention on the International Trade of Endangered Species. What do those numbers look like? Dense slide, I will read it to you. Don't worry about reading it. Since 1957, over 3.6 million ball pythons, just ball pythons, like Patchy, just this species, have been exported from Africa. Thousands of ball pythons die per year in intercontinental transit. We'll talk a little bit about what that transit looks like in the next bit. more than 18.3 million live reptiles were imported into just the United States between 1989 and 1997. That number has increased exponentially since 1998. I think it's increased by 44%, if I'm remembering correctly, the reptile pet trade. So 18.3 million in just that time period. And 1997 was 24 years ago. So there's lots more that have been imported since then. That's just into the United States. As of 2019 as well, you can find over 1,400 species of reptile in the online pet trade. So you can go online, look for a reptile that you want, and you can find over 1,400 species of reptiles online to buy. So the journey that these animals experience, I don't know if this side would be considered very graphic, but if you're very sensitive to things, you might not want to see it, I guess. So how transit works. I have a couple examples here. I have an example of a legal transit, and I have example of illegal transit. I'm gonna be honest, I feel like I should have done like some kind of poll or something of like, do you think this is legal? You know, because it's kind of crazy. The picture on the left here is a legal transport of ball pythons going from West Africa to Miami. They're being inspected to ensure that there's within the legal limits of 8 snakes per bag, 8 ball pythons per bag. These bags are 18 by 24 inches. So that's kind of crazy. I'll show you what a snake bag looks like, actually. Then I have to grab it from the closet. This is not an 18 by 24. This is smaller, but this is what we got Patchy in. This is a snake bag. She sent him to us in this. Just like a little cloth bag. Omnipotent specimen serpents. But yeah, this is a snake bag. And yeah, the leftmost picture is legal. Just Togo is allowed to export 1,500 wild snakes per year, and they're allowed to export almost 63,000 ranched snakes. What does ranched mean? Ranch means they can take female snakes out of the wild, breed them in captivity. They have to release a certain amount of the offspring, and then release the pregnant female or the formerly pregnant female. But that's not a very regulated industry. Do we really know if they're doing those releases, also if they're releasing them to the habitat that they actually pick the snakes out from? Because snakes are super, super sensitive to habitat changes like that. No, we don't know. How many of them are being, it's much easier to just scoop them out of the wild and export them. So one of the reasons that ball pythons and snakes are so heavily imported, exported is because it's way cheaper to just pick them up from the wild than it is to breed them and buy them from breeders. So the picture on the right is an example of an illegal transport situation of reptiles. This is more than snakes in this picture. This is a seizure of 80 live snakes, and there's other reptiles in this picture. I wrote snakes, but by Cameroonian customs. This picture's from 2020, so it's still happening a lot. Each of these bottles, water bottles and plastic containers, has a live reptile inside of it, and they put it all in a cooler, and they were trying to ship them that way. The first ball python that we got at Alveus back in April, we got from a confiscation at LAX, the Los Angeles airport. They found thousands of ball pythons stuffed into PVC pipe that they were trying to ship in cargo. So all of those snakes were confiscated by California Fish and Wildlife, and we got one of them. And that transport is very hard on them. Like I said before, they're exothermic animals. They're sensitive to temperature changes, and there's obviously going to be temperature changes going from West Africa to Miami, in that transport. So a lot of them die in that transport situation. I think I read it was like 5% or something, but for the thousands that are shipped, it's quite a few. And it's not just that, it's also a really hard start to life for a baby snake. The ball python that we got in April did not make it after we got it here. We're not exactly sure what the reason is, but I do think that that snake was more sensitive than your average because he got a really, really rough start and showed up when he was, you know, maybe 6-7 weeks old, with thousands of other snakes stuffed in a PVC pipe at LAX. Really tough start for a snake. So yeah, and parasites. There was a whole other conversation about the wildlife trade and how that can harm us. And we actually talked a little bit about COVID. We talked a lot about COVID in the last Animal Quest with emus, I think. So that's how transit works. What's the effect? Here we go. The only thing that I could find in all the research that I did, and I've done hours of research for this presentation, is that ball pythons appear to be locally threatened due to the intense collection driven by the pet trade. No numbers, nothing. There is not enough data to know how much the pet trade has affected wild snake populations, wild reptile populations as a whole, but we're talking about snakes today. There's just not enough data. We don't know. But you have to imagine with the numbers that we're cranking out, it has to not be good. That's just my assumption. So that's some stuff on the pet trade. Before we go into the recommendation section, there's a Q&A at the end of today, like all Animal Quests. If you have a question, because I haven't been answering questions as I've been talking, you can do #ask and then just write your question. No other special things, just #ask, write your question. It'll show up in a bot or in a doc for me to look through after. So if you have a question, feel free. I won't answer them all, but I'll answer some of them. My recommendations for you when it comes to snake friends. One, be kind to snakes. I feel like I'm talking to a bunch of kids. I do say that to kids all the time. I say, be kind to bugs, be kind to snakes. Just don't, I mean, if you see a snake, you don't have to kill it, you know? You don't have to hate it. They're just existing, like squirrels are existing, like birds are existing. You just kind of let them be, you know? Teach your friends that snake equals good. Another thing, a lot of people just hate snakes, and you can be like, why? You know, and they're gonna be like, I don't know. They're gonna be like, because they're gross or whatever. Purchase your pet reptiles responsibly. I'm not saying you're not allowed to have pet reptiles. Of course you are. But it's very important that you're purchasing reptiles that are bred in captivity and purchasing from breeders that are breeding ethically as well. There are lots of reptiles that are bred not in great ways. So just do your research before you buy a pet reptile, if you are going to buy a pet reptile, and make sure that it's not coming from the wild. If you find a snake, don't kill it. I already said that before. If you find a snake and you need it to be relocated, you can call your state Parks and Wildlife Division. That's if you're in the U.S. You can call your local animal control if you want a snake to be relocated. And another kind of fun resource is if you're in NA, you can check out the Free Snake Relocation Directory on Facebook. They have thousands of people from all over the place that are willing to do relocations of both venomous and non-venomous snakes. So that's an option for you too. If you're really like, there's a frickin' rattlesnake in my backyard and I want it gone. You know, that's an option for you as well. So I think that's the end of it. Yeah, that is the end of the presentation. Oh my gosh, my ear hurts. What'd you think? Did you learn some things? Did you enjoy it? Snakes? Oh. No quiz. We talked about doing the quiz, but I decided not to because the extension's so scuffed. Like, I didn't even think it was worth it because it doesn't show the names and it just breaks. And I was like, it's just not worth it. I'm sorry. I know some of you really like the quiz, but it's just not. It's not worth. It's so annoying for me. We can see if Patchy will eat. Actually, I can probably do this on my own. He might not. But maybe while we're building up some questions, I'm sure there are already lots of questions, but if you guys want to ask a question, you can do so. And I will see if I can get, hi bud. Wow. Actually I'll get Connor maybe. Hey Connor. Could you come up and cameraman for feeding Patchy, please? Okay. Patchy's ready to go. Yeah, if you have a question, hashtag ask and then write your question, and then I'll answer them after I feed Patchy. Hi, adore me, he's so cute. Oh. Also, he might not eat. He's harder to feed than Noodle is. So just don't get like too stupid excited about him eating. Patchy eats once a week. Noodle eats once every other week currently. And he eats a rat pup. Do you like a rat pup? No. He's looking at it. I have a feeling you guys might be disappointed today. Also, sometimes we have to heat it up with a hairdryer for him to be willing to eat it. So I might have to do that. Do you want to try to do that, Connor? There's a hairdryer in the closet. That would be great. There's also be careful because it's a lot lighter than you think, and it'll just like fly out of there if you do the hairdryer too close. Okay, we're gonna feed we're gonna feed Patchy in just a minute. Why? No. No. Great. Thank you. I did see a couple people say it. I wasn't thinking about it. Shelf. All right, let's pull up some questions. Let's go into Q&A. Let's answer some questions. Okay. Ooh. Okay. Evenings with Eve asked, what is your favorite snake species? I am like kind of obsessed with what's a Bolin's python? Is that how you say it? How you spell it? Yeah. She just went up there and like knocked stuff and it fell. But she's fine. Okay, well, now the shelf's safer, I guess. Bolin's python. BOELEN' python. They're iridescent. It's a black snake, but it's like rainbow. I saw one at a zoo once. I freaked out. It was so weird. Look at it. God, I don't understand the new update. It really stresses me out. How crazy is that? Yeah, like a rainbow boa. White-lipped pythons also have this like oil slick kind of look. They're crazy cool. And they have these white markings too. Look at their head. Wait. Oh, I lost the picture of its head. I found it. Oh, that's just a painting. How cool is that? And it's not just the lighting in those pictures. Of course, some of those pictures, like the saturation is upped, right? But I saw one of those in the zoo, and it was the first time I've seen anything iridescent, and I was like, wow, what the heck? Hello. Oh, is it not just in there? Oh, it's got to be in one of those bins underneath the new shelves. Yeah, it's just I stuffed everything in the bins. Okay, next question. It's Jumpy said, can snakes suffocate themselves when eating? No, because actually I feel like a lot of you guys could probably remember what it's called. why they're not suffocating themselves while they're eating. Wait. There's something that sticks out of the side of their mouth. Yeah, stealthy. It's a glottis. And Jazz, correct. Glottis. Wow, look at you guys go. It's like a snorkel tube. They have something called a glottis that they'll stick out of the side of their mouth if the prey is too big. And it's attached to their trachea so they can breathe while they're eating. It sounds kind of weird too. Sometimes you'll hear them breathing through it like while they're eating. If you come back for a keeping stream and you watch Noodle eat, you'll probably hear her. It is like a straw. That's right. Shrezno said, how often do snakes eat? It depends on the size of the snake and the age of the snake. Patchy eats once a week, and Noodle eats once every other week. Patchy eats a rat pup once a week. Noodle eats an extra large rat. It's like this pig, once every other week. So, not that often. Sorry, I'm looking for a good question. King Doozy said, do snakes kill each other? Yeah, they do. There are snake species that like eating other snake species. King snakes in California, really, really beautiful black and white snakes, eat other snakes. So that's pretty neat. There are lots of snakes that eat other snakes. So yeah, snakes absolutely will kill each other. Somebody said, how can we be sure snakes don't just have really, really tiny legs? I don't know. I mean, they just don't. Just look up really close. They don't. Okay, interesting question. I don't know why I'm selecting this one because I'm not super confident in the answer, but Radfuzz said, what's the difference between snakes and legless lizards? I'm pretty sure legless lizards have an external ear hole and eyelids. Is that correct? I don't know either. All right, let's try to feed Patchy again and see what happens. But they do look a lot like snakes, and they don't have legs. Warm rat pup. My hand is shaking. So Patchy, before we got him, was eating live. We feed everything frozen thawed here. It's both less traumatic for rodent and safer for the reptile. Rats can very, very, very easily bite through snakeskin. So it's better for everybody involved to do frozen. Oh, he's missing. No, it's good. This is fine, right? Very gentle. Yum. He's gonna take it in there with him. Okay. Damn, our ball python is so aggressive. Yeah, with eating, Patchy's pretty gentle about it. Very slow chomp. Noodle strikes pretty hard and pretty fast. Patchy does not. This isn't his normal enclosure, right? Because you're feeding him. Correct. Yeah, Patchy does not live in here. He has his own terrarium. This isn't even. Actually, I guess this is where we feed him. He's not eating it. He's lagging. He's getting himself a little bit tangled up. You can zoom in more, maybe. Oh, okay. That's. Long doggy. There you go. Ow, I just hit my head. It's a pretty slow process, guys. Snakes are pretty vulnerable when they're eating. It takes them a while to swallow it. A cool thing that you'll probably see in a second, I mean, maybe, he's pretty stun-locked right now, but is his top jaws, snake's top jaws are able to move independently of each other. So they'll go left, right, crawling over the prey as they're pulling it into their mouth. They also have backwards facing teeth, which is part of why if you get bit by a snake, you don't want to pull it off. So they have these backwards facing teeth, they crawl over the prey and it pulls it back into their mouth. There's that left jaw go, and the right, and left, and right. Very good demonstration, Patchy, thank you. Amazing. So you see what I mean with those teeth pulling it into his mouth like that? The quality of this camera is insane, yeah. It's pretty nice. Good form. His colors are very, very pretty. Yeah, it's not natural color for a ball python. He was bred for this color. It's a very specific, it has some fancy name in the pet trade. He's not a spider. He's like a mystic flame something crazy. I don't know. Right now you can't see his glottis. I think it's probably on the other side. But I don't hear any sounds from him. Oh, when I say spider is a color variation in ball pythons that they breed for color. It actually has a really bad rep for coming with neurological issues as well. Some of the snakes come out with a wobble, so they're not able to hold themselves up steady. They just wobble constantly. Dang. That camera's nuts. I cleaned the bin so you can see it. See through it. Usually has water stains on it. Wow. Yummy, Patchy. So cute. All right. So now he's going to wiggle the top part of it, like the base of his, what is that called? Where his head and body meets. He'll wiggle a little bit at the top to push it down. Using gravity, very smart man. You can kind of see the wiggle at the top there. Maybe not. Yes, they do poop. Snakes poop. So that looks like a yawn. It's not a yawn. It's just him readjusting his jaws there. Or him pogging, yeah, I guess. So now you can see that top part of his neck is pretty much returned to the size it was before, and his food is moving down. Thank you, Patchy. That was very cool. Connor said shelf. She's going up. No, ma'am. Stay.
You want to close up a noodle before I put this back?
Yeah. So there you go. There's Patchy's food for the week. I'm glad he ate. Thank you for heating it up. It helps a lot. Spoiled.
Not as good as Finn.
Noodle has some really cool markings. She's got a bunch of upside down A's and a lot of highs. Look at this. Hi. Hi.
Noodle.
Here's her head. Can I see her head? Whoop. There she is. Pretty lady. Yay. You see the sad face on her head too. And when she sticks her tongue out. So I said it way earlier in the presentation, but snakes smell with their tongue. Smell isn't really the right word though, because they're really just tasting with their tongue, but they have a special organ that we do not in their mouths called the Jacobson's organ. And they bring those particles into their mouth and send that information to their brain. So that's how they figure out what's around them. They have a 2-forked tongue for even more precise smelling, so they can figure out where stuff is. Yeah, it's beautiful. It looks so good.
Thank you, Noodle.
Yay, thanks, Noodle. Good, Snaky. Drake's in chat for Connor, cameramanning, big time. Actually cool shots of snakes. All right. She's going to shed soon? Yeah, she is. Patchy just did his first shed, actually, also. Which is cool because we are going to send snake sheds in to do testing. Stress testing. What are the, can you explain the details of that? Measuring what?
Cortisol is a stress hormone.
We
We can measure it.
can measure cortisol levels in our snakes with their skins, and we're going to do it either quarterly or twice a year, so that we can figure out how happy or how stressed our snakes are and adjust accordingly. And we can do that with bird feathers as well. So we'll be sending feathers in too. So we have some actual quantitative data to back up how happy our animals are here, which is really neat. Thank you so much, Connor. Amazing. All right. So back to a few more questions, and then we will close up here. No, wait, space. I'm clicking things, but I'm not ready yet. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Don't put that up. Okay, this one. Sketty said, what does a bite from Noodle or Patchy feel like? Is it comparable to a cat or dog bite? I'm going to be honest, I've never been bit by a snake before. I have been bit by both cats and dogs, though. And Ella has been bit by a snake, and I've seen lots of snake bites happen. I don't think it's comparable. I think cat and dog bites are significantly worse. Snakes don't even usually hold on if they strike. It's like, you know, and they have very, very... What are you doing? You crazy animal. I'm just gonna hold her. Snakes have very short teeth as well. So it's kind of like a bunch of little pricks. So yeah, that's a snake bite. Dog and cat bites are gnarly. Like dogs can shred. So can cats. So I would rather get bit by a snake for sure. A non-venomous snake, ideally, right? But yeah, than a dog or a cat. Mm-hmm. Someone said, what is Patchy's favorite color? I don't know. Okay, Fix Your Act said, what is the biggest animal a snake can eat? So I said earlier in the presentation, the longest snake species on Earth currently is a reticulated python that can get about 30 feet long. But the largest is a green anaconda. And I'd say probably deer. And that's like large prey. So yeah, probably deer. Corn Cob said, are snakes omnivorous or are they herbivores? They're carnivores. Snakes only eat meat. Snake don't like fruit. Foo Fur, thank you for the 5. I'm watching her. World said, can you explain molting briefly? Yeah. So shedding, snakes shed. Snakes shed as they grow. Their skin does not grow. Their skin doesn't grow with them. So they shed their skin, including the skin over their eyeballs, which is pretty crazy. This is part of a snake shed. This is from Noodle. And you can see every scale on it. It's pretty sweet. And a lot of people think that you can tell a snake's age by how many times it's shed. People think that you can tell how old a rattlesnake is because of how many rattle segments it has. It's not necessarily true. Every time a rattlesnake sheds, it does get a new segment also listen to the sound. Kind of crazy, huh? Every time a rattlesnake sheds, it does get a new segment on its rattle, but they don't shed once a year. So you can't say, like, that's a 3-year-old snake. They shed as many times a year as fast as they grow. So Noodle's shed. Noodle's been here since April, and we feed her quite a bit, more than she was fed at the old zoo, and she's shed, 3 times since April. So, yeah, that's pretty crazy. Do. All right, we'll do like 2 more questions. A lot of people have asked if I've been bitten by a snake. I've never been bit by a snake. Someone asked if I would go on a date with him. No. Okay. Oro said, do snakes have empathy or the ability to be trained like other animals? Interesting question. The empathy question is too big of a question for me to touch on for any animal, let alone snakes. That's a tough one. Can they be trained like other animals? We're experimenting here quite a bit with how much they're really capable of. I had a guest on my conservation podcast, Dr. David Steen. He's a snake biologist. I asked him if they're capable of recognizing keepers and whether they would behave differently between keepers, me, Kayla, Ella, right? And he said, I don't know, but I don't see why they couldn't. And if I find any interesting anecdotal evidence to pass it on to him. We are planning on target training Patchy. Patchy really likes coming out of his enclosure, and we do think we can pair a color with him coming out of his enclosure. Our last feeding that we did with Noodle, we're working on more choice-based training with them. Instead of pulling her out and putting her in the bucket, we put the bucket on the ground, we opened her enclosure, and we let her come out on her own and eat on her own, and she did it successfully. It took a lot longer, but she did it successfully. I've seen lots of videos of people target training their snakes. I saw a video recently of a woman who took her snake to the vet, targeted him out of the crate onto a perch at the vet. The vet did an exam and targeted him back into the crate. So she didn't need to do any coercive handling. So I do think that they're capable of a lot more than people realize. It's just a lot longer training process because with a dog or with a crow or with a chicken, you can constantly bit and do so much repetition. These snakes only eat once a week, once every 2 weeks. So it'll take a lot longer, but it'll be really interesting to see how much they're capable of. Okay, last question. Sorry, I just touched the mic a lot. Last question here. Talix asked, can snakes digest bone or do they throw them up? They do not throw anything up. They eat and digest whole prey. So there you go. There are so many questions. Thank you for asking all of those questions. A lot of them are really, really good. So holy moly. There are 461 questions. Okay, so for those of you who have lots of questions that I obviously did not answer and I cannot answer today, thank you for asking them. I super recommend Dr. David Steen's book, the guy that was on my podcast. It's called The Secret of Snakes. It's kind of like the myth and truth section that I did. It just answers a bunch of frequently asked questions about snakes. It has like, do snakes really travel in pairs? Can snakes bite and eat things underwater? Can snakes swim? Can you tell if a snake is venomous by the shape of its head? A whole bunch. So if you want to check that out, it's a really good book. I used it for my research today. So you got that. A couple other things before we close up here. This is Animal Quest number 3. I hope you guys liked it. A lot of really cool info. Snakes are really great ambassadors. I learned so much doing that research. I hope you learned a lot too. We have merch available for Alveus merch. If you want Alveus merch, I'm wearing it right now. This is a woman's t-shirt. We also have hoodies. We have, I almost said sweatshirts. It's the same thing. Hoodies, beanies, bags, phone cases, t-shirt, dresses, crop tops, lots of fun stuff. You can check out the link that Space is putting in chat there. If you would like merch, 100% of the proceeds go to Alveus. I don't make money off of that line at all. It's also all within Stream Elements Eco line, so all the material that is in those merch items is either recycled or 100% organic cotton, which is pretty cool. And it's all embroidered too, except for one bag. You can get an embroidered bag or you can get a screen printed tote bag. But everything else is embroidered, and it's all just the logo in black or white or color. So it's really nice merch. I'm really proud of it. And it's super fast shipping. Yeah, I'm really proud of the shipping. I'm very impressed with how fast they got everything out. So that is pretty neat, very comfy. We also have a P.O. box. We do P.O. box streams here at Alveus. We just added a ton to the P.O. So much. We added so much to the P.O. box or to the wish list, our Amazon wish list. So you can buy presents for the animals. We're going to do a big Christmas P.O. box stream here with some of the parrots. So you can buy parrot toys. You can buy chinchilla food, chinchilla treats, things for the snakes, things that we need as keepers here as well to keep Alveus up and running. It's a great way to donate in-kind donations if you don't want to donate just money to Alveus, and then you get to see it open on stream, and you get to see me use it during keeping streams every week. So if you want to buy something from the wish list, please do. That would be great. And I think that's all I have for today. Am I missing announcements? Oh, a YouTube video. Danny, are you ready? We should be posting a YouTube video today too. No quiz, I'm sorry. Yes, Sammy is going to be here tonight. So my next stream is tomorrow, Tuesday, Cringe in the Kitchen with Sammy and Slick, I guess. Wednesday. All right, new YouTube video is posted to, hold on, I'll go through the schedule in a second. There's a new YouTube video posted. Watch it, please. It's so funny. I think it's so funny. I went to do Thanksgiving with my family and my grandfather. I was going to read you what he said, but it's an Alveus stream, so I'm not going to. I have I have a whole list of things that he said that day that I was like, wow, that's outrageous. He's hilarious. Kind of an incel, maybe. I don't know, but he's hilarious. Super K-Kona. And I did a Q&A with him, and I recorded it for YouTube. So it's on YouTube. It's really funny. You should watch it. But yeah, new YouTube videos out. Thank you. Schedule for this week. Tomorrow, Cringe in the Kitchen with Sammy, not Adept. Sammy, my friend Sammy from the zoo. So tomorrow, Cringe in the Kitchen with Sammy. Wednesday, I'm going to film a new Tiny Mike video at an animal shelter in Austin with their adoptable dogs and cats. And it's going to be a fundraiser as well for the animal shelter, and hopes that the animals in the video get adopted, which is really exciting. So I'm filming that on Wednesday. Thursday, me and Sammy are doing our animal sex stream. I need to find a better way to say that. We're doing a stream, an educational stream about sex in the animal kingdom. And we're talking about different animal penises. We're talking about different types of reproduction in the animal kingdom. It's a crazy, crazy world. We're going to do it in my living room on my cozy couch. It's going to be super nice. So that's going to be fun. Thursday, 5 p.m. CT with Sammy. And then I go to LA over the weekend. So Cutie's Christmas concert's on the 11th, and then Wine About It's on the 12th. Cool? I think that's all I got. All right. Watch the new YouTube video. Like, subscribe. Only 8% of you are subscribed. It's kind of weird. I'm going to host Jelly. Raid Jelly. Am I forgetting anything? Learned a lot? Yay! I'm glad you learned things. Shoutouts to Space for running shit. And my team, Danny and Max for making videos, and everybody else for everything. Good stuff. Dion for making the intro screen. You might have missed it. Wait. Look, he's drawing a snake. Dion big time, and thank you Iljix for not even trying to do math. Good stuff. See you tomorrow for Cringe in the Kitchen it's supposed to be at 1 p.m. CT, but you already know it's going to be like 2. See you then. Thank you guys. Goodbye. Have a good Monday.